Hello everyone, I'm your facilitator today and my name is Patrick and I'm going to take you through mathematics, and under that we're going to talk about fractions. Now, you might ask yourself, what is a fraction? What is a fraction? A fraction is part of a whole or a group. You'll say fractions. Fraction, a fraction is part of a whole, or a group. Part of a whole or a group. That is a fraction. Now, how can we explain that a fraction is part of a whole? Now you might part of a whole. So we explain that a fraction as part of a whole. Part of a whole. How can you explain that a fraction is part of a whole? Now, you might be having a chapati. This is your chapati. Then you cut it into several pieces. Then you decide to eat only this piece. This piece is just part of a whole. So we explain that as part of a whole. It's not necessarily has to be a chapati. It can be an orange, something that you can easily cut into equal parts. You can use that to explain as a fraction as part of a whole. Now, how can you explain that a fraction is part of a group? Part of a group. Now, a fraction as part of a group. Now, you might be having several shapes. Let me draw the shapes here. For example, this is a triangle, a circle, a rectangle, another circle, a square, a rectangle again, and another rectangle. Yes, a circle, a triangle, a square again, and a triangle. You put them together. This is a group of shapes. But now that there are groups of shapes, we can decide to find out what is the fraction of triangles. What is the fraction of triangles? Is triangles. Triangles ziko ngapi? Triangles. Fraction of triangles. So how many triangles do you have? 1, 2, 3. There are 3 triangles. We have 3 triangles. Out of what is the total number of all the triangles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. So we have got the fraction of the triangles is 3 out of 12. You can also find out the fraction of circles. What is the fraction of circles? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you say circles. Out of this total group of shapes, we have got 4 out of how many? Out of all of them are 12. So we have got 4 out of 12 circles. Let me put it in a different pen so that you can be able to see well. 4 out of 12. You can try that with other shapes. Like the remaining one is, we have a rectangle. We have how many rectangles? 1, 2, 3. You can say rectangle. We have how many rectangles? We have got how many rectangles? 3 rectangles out of, this one is 3 out of 12. That is it on fraction as part of a group. You can still explain that using the number of learners in a class. Like for example, in a class, if you walk to a class, you find out that there are how many learners? We have got how many learners? The learners are, let's say there are 20 learners. The total number of learners are 20. But you count among the learners, you find out that there are how many boys? Let's say there are 12 boys. 12 are boys and the remaining number is girls. So before we find the number of girls, they will ask us what is the fraction of the boys. So boys is the total number out of the total number of learners. The learners is representing the group. The number of learners is representing the group. So it will be 12 out of 20. That is a fraction for boys. So You take 20, take away 12, you get what? 20, take away 12, you get 8. This 8 is representing gas. This 8 is representing gas. So if gas are 8, the gas are 8, what will be the fraction of the gas? You'll come and say it will be 8 out of the total number of learners for how many? 20. So up to there, I want to go back to where we started. We said that a fraction is part of a whole or a group, and we have explained it vividly there. Then we said a fraction can also be a part of a group. That is what I have given as explanation. And another scenario where we have a fraction as part of a group is where we have different types of fruits. You might go to the market, then purchase a group of fruits. Like for example, you find out that a boy has gone to the market and purchased different types of fruits. Now, if you purchase the fruits and you find out that these are the fruits, for example, you have purchased apples. Apples are, let's say, 12. Oranges are, let's say, 4. And the next type of fruit is, let's say, mangoes, let's say they are 5. Now, there is something in common with this. All these are fruits. All of them are fruits. But now, if they ask us, what is the fraction of apples in the group of fruits? All of them are fruits. But what is the fraction of the apples? You need to know, first of all, what is the total number of fruits that you have. You come and say 12 plus 4 plus 5. 12 plus 4 plus 5. How many are they? 12 plus 4, that is 16. 16 plus 5, that is what? 20? 21. So the total number of fruits that you have there is 21. But now, 21 is the total number of fruits. What is the fraction of apples? So we have said that the total number of fruits is 21. So we want to know the fraction of apples in this group of fruits. It will be the 12 out of 21. That is the fraction. That is 12 out of 21. Oranges, they will be 4 out of 21. The total number of fruits. Then the mangoes will be 5 out of 21. That is how to explain that a fraction is part of a group. A fraction is part of a group. Now, up to there, hope you are following together, and I'll urge you, in case of any question, you can place your comment there in the comment section as we proceed to something else. Now, as we discussed, we say a fraction is part of a whole or a group, but I want you to know how to write this fraction. You're just writing the fraction, but there is a skill for writing a fraction. Now, look at this. We have got, as you write a fraction, for example, you've written 3 out of 7. This number on top is given a name called a numerator. The number on top is called numerator. The number on top is called the numerator. Then the number that is down here, from the word down, we give it a name denominator. So we have numerator and the denominator. The number on top is called numerator. The number down is called the denominator. That is it on how to identify a fraction. So a fraction needs to have a numerator and a denominator. Now, I'll wish that we start now to know the types of fraction. Types of fraction. I want us to discuss on types of fractions, because the fractions are not always the same. We need to know the types of fractions. Types of fractions. Types of fractions. Now, the first type of fraction is proper fraction. A proper fraction. Proper fraction. Proper fraction. Another type of fraction is called improper. Improper fraction. Improper fraction. Improper fraction. The last type of fraction is called mixed fraction. Mixed fraction. Mixed fraction. Those are the types of fraction you need to know. Now, whatever is going to guide us to know to differentiate this type of fraction is about the numerator and the denominator. And for that reason, I want us to discuss the first type of fraction is proper fraction. So, how can you be able to tell a proper fraction? How can you be able to tell this type of fraction called proper fraction? I want you to take this as a scenario where a adult is carrying a small child on the shoulders. That is a good example of a proper fraction. A big thing carrying a small thing. Proper fraction. A proper fraction is where a small number is on top of a big number. Proper fraction. As I told you earlier that the number on top is called numerator and the number down is called denominator. So a scenario where a small number is the numerator, and a big number is the denominator. That is an example of a proper denominator. That's an example of a proper fraction. Now, examples of proper fractions where the numerator is small and the denominator is big. A good example is 2 out of 7. That is an example of a proper fraction. You also have 5 out of 12. Yes, we also have like 8 out of 15. That is also, we can also have 11 out of 30. We can also have a big number like 21 out of 70. This is a proper fraction. And I've told you that a proper fraction is where the numerator is smaller than the denominator, where the father is carrying the child on the shoulder, or the mother is carrying the child on the shoulder. That is it by example, just to mention a few. You can also mention yours there in the comment section and indicate that your proper fraction is this. Now, from there we go and discuss another type of fraction is improper. Now, when we were discussing proper, I want to tell you that the improper fraction is the opposite of now proper fraction. I told you that in a proper fraction is a small number is in the numerator and the big number is the denominator. Now in improper, it's now the opposite. Improper. Let's write there improper fraction. Improper fraction is where the big number is on top of a small number. And which is that big number? The numerator. Numerator is bigger than denominator. Numerator is bigger than denominator. When the numerator is bigger than the denominator, that one is an improper fraction, because it's something that is impossible. It's not possible for a small child to carry an adult. That's why we're calling it an improper fraction. So from that point, we're going to look at examples of improper fraction. Examples of improper fraction where we have the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Now we can have 7 out of 2. I can decide to interchange this one. Now this one goes down and the other one goes up. It becomes improper. This is an example of improper fraction. Another example, let me write here for you examples of improper. Examples of improper, where we have a big number on top of a small number, we have 7 out of 2. We interchange the other one, it becomes 12 out of 5. Yes, we can also have 15 out of 8. We can also have 30 out of 11. I'm just changing the ones we mentioned in the proper fraction so that you can get to understand how we call it improper. Is where the big number comes on top and the small number goes down. Then another one is 70 out of 21, something that is impossible. It's not possible for a small child to carry an adult on top of the shoulders or on top of their head. So we call it improper fraction. Improper fraction. The last type of fraction that we're going to discuss is a mixed fraction. Mixed fraction. Let me write here for you mixed fraction. Mixed fraction. Mixed fraction. What is a mixed fraction? A mixed fraction is a type of fraction where you have a whole number and accompanied by a proper fraction. A whole number accompanied by a proper fraction. So for example, if you're carrying fruits, you're carrying a whole fruit accompanied by pieces of that fruit. So part of that fruit is a proper fraction. Then the whole fruit caters for the what? For the whole number. Now is let me write for you here is where whole number is accompanied by proper fraction. Proper fraction. A whole number is accompanied by a proper fraction. Now we give examples of a mixed fraction. We have our proper fractions there already, so we are going to attach a whole number on it. We can decide to choose a number like 2. We attach 2 out of 7. That is a mixed fraction. It's mixed up with a whole number and a proper fraction. Another type of fraction we can say it is, let's say, 8 and 5 out of 12. That is another example of a mixed fraction. We pick another proper fraction. It is 8 out of 15. We attach a whole number. We can decide to attach which number. For example, 1 and 8 out of 15. Just to mention a few. You can still go in the comment section and mention your own types of fractions based on how you've understood. Now, for that matter, I wish that you do what? We go through the types of fraction. We have said the first type of fraction we said is a proper fraction. Is a type of fraction where a small number is on top of a big number, and the small number that is on top, we call it a numerator. We call it a numerator. Is where a numerator is on top of a denominator, and the numerator is very small. You can see we gave there examples like 2 out of 7, 5 out of 12, 8 out of 15, 11 out of 30, and 21 out of 70. Another type of fraction we mentioned is improper fraction. An improper fraction is a type of fraction where the numerator, the number on top, is bigger than the number that is down, which is the denominator. And we gave examples of improper fraction here: 7 out of 2. We have got 12 out of 5. We have got 15 out of 8, 30 out of 11, or 70 out of 21. From the word improper, from the word impossible, we get the word improper, where an adult is being carried on top of the shoulders with a small child, which is something that is impossible. Now, the last one we discussed about is a mixed fraction. A mixed fraction is a type of fraction where a whole number is accompanied by a proper fraction. So for our case here, we have a whole number is 2, is the whole number, and a proper fraction is 2 out of 7. We went to 8 and 5 out of 21, and 1 and 8 out of 15. That's how we read a whole mixed fraction. If you mention the whole number, then you say and you attach the proper fraction. Like for example, 3 and 8 out of 15. That is on types of fraction. That is it for today. I wish to stop there for today, but in our next meeting we'll be discussing on how we can convert improper fraction to mixed and mixed to improper. Yes, as we complete our lesson, I'm going to give you a multiplication trick for multiplication table for 6, and take a scenario of where you're given 6 multiplied by 8. You'll come and say, you write here 8. Then you ask yourself, what is 8 divided by 2? Is 4. Right here 4. So 6 multiplied by 4 by 6 multiplied by 8 is 48. We go to 6 multiplied by 6. You write here 6. Then what is 6 divided by 2? Is 3. So 6 multiplied by 6 is 36. Then another one is 6 multiplied by 4. You take this 4, you write here 4. Then what is 4 divided by 2? You get 2. Now I leave this for you as an assignment. You write it in the comment section.